Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Sunday, August 25th, 2024. The big news this morning, Israel bombing Hezbollah all over the place. And today is exactly 322 days after Netanyahu declared war on Hamas. That was Sunday, October 8th, 2023. We know 322 is a special number, from Genesis 322 to the founder of the Illuminati dying on the 322nd day of the year, to Skull and Bones being founded 2 years after his death and being called Order 322. Remember, Skull and Bones was modeled after the Illuminati, founded in Bavaria, again by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, who was born Jewish, who lost his parents at a very young age and was raised by a Jesuit priest. In light of the Illuminati-Jesuit connection, notice how in Gematria, Order of Illuminati equates to 258 and 201. And today, the majority of the world writes the date 25/8, like 258. As we know, State of Israel equals 201, like Order of Illuminati, also like the Jesuit Order. And Adam Weishaupt, who founded the Illuminati, was a Jesuit, died in history 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. May 1st is when the Illuminati was founded. November 18th is when he died. And it goes with State of Israel equaling 201, and the first Prime Minister of Israel, David Ben-Gurion, dying 201 days after the anniversary of Israel's establishment, May 14th, also in the month of May. But again, these things are not an accident. I mean, you turn on every headline, it's huge explosions all over the screen. And remember what Eisenhower said as he left office. He talked about this military-industrial complex, these powerful people, a secretive order that just want more and more war. Military-industrial complex equates to 322. And think about 9/11. You had a Skull and Bones member, an Order 322 member in office. The Twin Towers became 0 towers before they became 1 tower, 201. Back then, the leader of Israel was Ehud Barak, and he was the one who went on TV as soon as 9/11 happened and said the U.S. needs to declare a war on terrorism. That's what we did. And he said we needed to attack Afghanistan and Iraq. That's what we did. But again, it doesn't mean Israel runs the world. You have to follow the breadcrumb trail, and you can see that the same Jesuits who were here at the beginning of this nation are also the ones that created Israel by the numbers. Again, Israel created on 14/5, like 145, like 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament, when Catholic equals 145, as does David Ben-Gurion. But yeah, all of this warfare just unfolding by a code. And again, if you never heard Eisenhower's exit speech from president, you should go back and listen. It was about the military-industrial complex. And he said if the American people don't stop it, it will grow to be something beyond your worst nightmares. I mean, look how much money we spend on warfare. I mean, just look at what's going on in the world right now. Case in point, we sent $95 billion to Israel and Ukraine on the 201st day of the war in Israel. And remember, they approved that money on Hitler's birthday, who was modeled after he modeled the SS after the Jesuits. Again, the Jesuits were credited to counter the 95 Theses. From Martin Luther penning the 95 Theses to the Jesuits being created was 201 months later. Like how Martin Luther King Jr., when he got assassinated, the nation's first gun control was 201 days later. We're just talking about the game they're playing with the simulation of Event 201, and then came the pandemic, and then came the printing of money, and then came inflation, and then came interest rates spiking hard, and then came just this past Friday, the head of the Fed, who's also Jesuit educated, saying the time is now to cut interest rates, and he did it 201 days after his birthday, and then come back to the Israel thing. It's like Netanyahu leaving office on June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the year, and then coming back into office on 12/29, when 1229 is the 201st prime, and that's also Albert Pike's birthday, who wrote the letter about 3 world wars, and how the third will be centered around political Zionism. And again, he published that letter on August 15th, 1871, which is the Jesuit order's anniversary of being established in France in 1534. And on and on and on. And everything else I didn't mention in between before that. But yeah, I mean, news by the numbers, war by the numbers. We mentioned the skull and bones thing. Don't forget, skull and bones gets their symbolism from how the Templars buried their dead. The Templar cross in the middle of the Jesuit logo. The original bankers in this world were Templars. But this war began on October 7th, and then Netanyahu declared war the next day. But remember, October 7th when we invaded Afghanistan after 9/11, and that's the day leaving 85 days left in the year. Templar equals 85. Again, you look at the Jesuit Order's logo, the Templar cross with the letters IHS beneath it, which stands for Isus Hominum Salvator, which equals 85. Crucify equals 85. That was the Roman form of capital punishment. Funny enough, the phrase capital punishment is 201. It's funny how it all comes together. But, yeah, just the terminology, too, like preemptive strikes. They have all this language like downplay what they're doing. You blew up a bunch of people again. And again, when you get the casualty report, you'll probably see maybe they got one Hezbollah and they took out 30 children and 30 moms. You know what I mean? Oh, whoops, they accidentally bombed a wedding. Oh, whoops, they accidentally bombed a hospital. Oh, whoops, they accidentally bombed a school. No, it's not a genocide. It's just a bunch of accidents. No, this is what Eisenhower said. It'll grow beyond your worst nightmares. The military-industrial complex. Again, try it out. Write out the words military-industrial complex. Now online, there's calculators that do it for you. Just type in the word and it gives you the math. I had to do all this stuff by hand when I first started. It was probably like day 2 or day 3 of writing everything out in a notebook when I realized military-industrial complex equaled 322. I had to write it down and triple check it 3 times. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, thanks to everyone who helps get out the word. And like I said in that last video I uploaded, if it gets to 1 million views, I'll go back out to New York for 9/11. But yeah, I want to see people get behind this work again. Last time I drove across the country, hit all the cities in between, and financial support got cut in half. Might happen again if I got to New York. But before that happens, I want to see that people actually care about us getting out there and pounding pavement and putting this truth out on the streets. Until next time, Truth Seeker.